Chosen one, listen carefully, because you are not here by accident, and this moment is not random. Heaven itself has arranged this meeting, not early and not late, but precisely on time. Anointed one, if you felt an inner pause, a sudden stillness, or a quiet pull to stay, that was not curiosity. That was recognition. God does not interrupt lives without purpose, and He does not call for silence without reason. Chosen one, you are standing at the edge of a supernatural shift. What has been forming quietly is about to move openly. What has been delayed is about to accelerate. What has been guarded is about to be revealed in its proper season. Scripture says the vision awaits an appointed time, and though it seems slow, it will not lie. This is that appointed moment. Not for striving, not for explaining, but for alignment. Anointed one, God has watched how often you have tried to clarify, defend, or justify what He never asked you to explain. And now He speaks with authority, not to restrain you, but to protect what is near completion. Silence is not absence here. Silence is divine control. It is heaven saying, "Let me finish this without interference." Chosen one, understand this gently. God's reminders do not always come through louder voices or clearer explanations. Sometimes they arrive as something quiet, simple, and steady that the soul recognizes as safe to return to when everything else grows noisy. What has been prepared remains undisturbed, resting exactly where it was placed. Chosen one, you are not hearing this by chance, and this moment is not a coincidence formed by habit or routine. Heaven has arranged this intersection with precision, and your spirit recognized it before your mind could explain it. Anointed one, this is a divinely appointed hour, a set time spoken of in Scripture, where what was hidden is guarded, and what is guarded is almost ready to move. You have been brought here because timing now matters more than effort. Chosen one, you are standing at the edge of a supernatural turning. What has been forming beneath the surface is nearing emergence, not through noise, but through restraint. Just as the word declares that the vision waits for its appointed time and will not fail, this season has required silence because the work has been sacred. Heaven is not delaying you. Heaven is preserving you. Sudden elevation does not announce itself early, and divine provision does not arrive through explanation. Anointed one, God is serious in this hour because what is close is sensitive. Every word carries weight now. Every sentence releases something. That is why silence has become strategy, and stillness has become protection. This is not suppression. This is refinement. You are being positioned for what cannot be defended by words, only carried by obedience. Chosen one, remember this gently as you remain here. God does not always confirm through voices or explanations. Sometimes what sustains the soul is something quiet, simple, and steady that remains when everything else grows loud. What has been prepared rests here, undisturbed and ready, exactly as it was set. Chosen one, this is the moment where understanding deepens and resistance begins to fall away, because what God is doing now cannot be rushed without cost. You are not being slowed down, you are being calibrated. Heaven does not refine vessels loudly, and it does not complete sacred work in public view. This is why the instruction has become precise. Silence is not a suggestion here, it is alignment. Anointed one, God works in seasons, and you are no longer in a season of announcement. You are in a season of preparation. Preparation always happens beneath the surface. A seed does not make noise underground, yet it is doing the most important work of its existence. If it demanded attention before its time, it would never survive the breaking of the soil. In the same way, what God placed inside you is alive, forming, and sensitive. Your silence is protecting the process. Chosen one. Every time you speak, something is released. Words are not neutral at this level. They carry weight, direction, and consequence. When you speak too early, you invite voices that were never assigned to your journey. Opinions enter. Doubt attaches. Jealousy gains awareness. Not because people are powerful, but because information is. God revealed certain things to you in prayer so they could be stewarded, not broadcast. Some things are holy because they are hidden. Anointed one, understand this clearly. God is not correcting you because you are wrong. He is restraining you because you are close. When breakthrough approaches, instruction sharpens. God does not whisper when the stakes are high. He speaks plainly. He says, "Be still. Let me arrange this. Let me remove without conflict. Let me redirect without chaos. Let me prepare without interference." Your silence gives heaven room to move cleanly. Chosen one, distraction does not always come through opposition. Sometimes it comes through conversation. Talking keeps you emotionally engaged with things God already resolved. It keeps you reactive when you were meant to be observant. Silence shifts you from reaction into discernment. It grounds you. It returns you to God's voice instead of the noise of expectation, criticism, or praise that has been pulling at your identity. Anointed one, there is also a deeper work happening. God is detoxing your spirit. Too many voices have touched your sense of self. Too many expectations have pulled on your calling. Silence recalibrates you. When you stop explaining, you start hearing. When you stop defending, you start resting. This is not shrinking, this is stabilizing. God is making you unshakable before He makes you visible. Chosen one, silence is also a test of trust. Can you stay quiet when you want to react? Can you hold peace when you want to prove something? Can you let God speak for you without stepping in to help Him? Many fail here, not because they lack faith, but because they fear that nothing will happen if they do not intervene. But God says if you speak now, you may slow what He is accelerating. Anointed one, this silence is not permanent. It is strategic. Like an arrow held back with discipline, its power is in the restraint. Released too early, it loses force. Held with precision, it strikes exactly where it was sent. God is sharpening your voice by quieting it. When He releases it again, it will not sound anxious. It will carry authority. Chosen one, you may have noticed that every time you spoke about what God was doing, resistance followed. Confusion entered, energy drained, peace lifted. This was not coincidence, it was awareness training. God is showing you how sensitive your assignment is right now. Silence is teaching you to stop seeking reassurance from people and lean fully into Him. The discomfort you feel is not weakness being exposed. It is impatience being healed. Anointed one, God does not need your help to defend your destiny. What He needs is your cooperation. This is a refining pause, a sacred moment where peace returns, clarity sharpens, and confidence deepens. Silence stops feeling like pressure when you understand it as protection. And when God releases your voice again, you will speak from certainty, not urgency. Chosen one, there is a reason God is deadly serious about this instruction. At higher levels, words gain visibility. They open doors or create delays. What is harmless for others becomes costly for you because you carry weight. Careless speech has delayed many chosen ones, not because the enemy was strong, but because oversharing created exposure. Silence starves interference. Anointed one, Not everyone who listens supports. Some collect information, some observe out of jealousy, some wait for failure. Silence removes their access without confrontation. It protects your peace. It prevents you from locking yourself into timelines created by premature expectation. God is not impressed by announcements. He is impressed by obedience. Chosen one. Understand this as well. Talking too much ties you to people whose assignment in your life has already expired. Conversations create attachments. Silence breaks them cleanly. God is closing doors quietly, removing people gently, and finalizing transitions without drama. If you keep talking, you reopen what heaven already shut. Anointed one, this is not coldness, this is stewardship. Stewardship of peace, stewardship of calling, stewardship of what God entrusted to you. Every time you choose silence over reaction, strength increases. Every time you let God speak for you, authority grows. This instruction is correction wrapped in love. Chosen one. Silence now is not restriction, it is rescue. Chosen one. There is a deeper layer unfolding now, one that heaven reveals only to those who can be trusted with quiet transformation. You are not being slowed down, you are being protected from premature exposure. God is not withholding visibility, He is shielding what is still fragile, still forming, still holy. And anointed one, this is where many misunderstand the silence of God and misinterpret it as distance. But silence is not absence. Silence is preservation. Chosen one, God is hiding you, not overlooking you. Ignoring is neglect. Hiding is intentional care. When God prepares someone for elevation, He removes unnecessary eyes. Not everyone is meant to witness your becoming. Some would contaminate what God is shaping. Some would discourage what heaven is building. Some would speak too soon into places God has not authorized them to enter. So God covers you, quietly, gently, wisely. Anointed one, this hidden season is not punishment, it is formation. It strips you of the need to be seen, the craving to be understood, the urge to constantly explain yourself. It purifies the motives. It clarifies the calling. It reveals who remains when applause disappears. In silence, God reintroduces you to yourself, your true self, not the version shaped by expectation, pressure, or performance. Chosen one. Many of you are walking through a kind of divine isolation. Invitations have stopped. Conversations have faded. People who once clung to you now drift like smoke. But hear this with spiritual clarity. Nothing was taken from you. Everything was removed for your protection. God separated you from those who loved the old version of you because the new version cannot grow in their presence. What once felt like companionship would now become contamination. Anointed one, this is why God allowed certain connections to dissolve without explanation. Silence finished what confrontation would have complicated. If you had kept speaking, you would have reopened what heaven already sealed. This is divine surgery, not rejection. God is cutting away the weight that cannot travel with you to your next level. Chosen one. Hiddenness is also healing. God knows how tired you were from carrying emotional weight, spiritual battles, and the noise of others' expectations. Silence is how He resets your nervous system and brings your soul back into alignment. Even Jesus withdrew. Even Jesus stepped away from crowds to protect His assignment. You are not behind. You are being stabilized. Anointed one, the quiet around you is not emptiness. It is God strengthening your roots so you will not break under the weight of future blessings. If He elevated you now, without this grounding, the pressure would crush you. Hiddenness is mercy. Slowness is strategy. Invisibility is protection. Chosen one. This silent season is teaching you something sacred. How to rest in God without demanding signs. How to trust the unseen. How to walk by conviction rather than confirmation. Heaven is busy even when earth feels still. God is aligning hearts, redirecting paths, removing obstacles, and preparing rooms with your name on them. Your involvement would only complicate what He is perfecting. Anointed one, there will come a moment, quiet, smooth, undeniable, when God brings you forward again. You will not have to announce it. You will not have to explain it. Elevation will be its own evidence. Breakthrough will speak on your behalf. And when that moment arrives, you will see clearly that the silence of this season did not delay you. It saved you. Chosen one. There comes a point in every sacred journey when the promise is no longer questioned, but the waiting wears on the edges of your strength. Not because you doubt God, but because time itself has stretched you across seasons you never expected to endure. Anointed one, heaven sees that weight. Heaven reads the tired places of your soul that you never speak of. The places where you still believe, but quietly wonder how much longer you must hold the unseen. Chosen one, endurance is not a loud virtue. It is not forged in moments of celebration or revelation. It is shaped in mornings when you rise without feeling ready, in nights when you lay awake rehearsing what God said, not because you doubt Him, but because you are reminding your spirit that His word is still alive. This is the part of the path no one applauds, the part where your faith is not displayed, it is lived. Anointed one, God is not testing your strength. He is expanding your capacity. Waiting is not punishment. It is preparation of the deepest kind. For there are promises that cannot be carried by the version of you that first received them. They require the steady, weathered, resilient you that is being formed right now. Heaven knows what the blessing weighs, and heaven knows what you must become to hold it without breaking. Chosen one, the long wait does something strange to the heart. It empties it of illusions and fills it with substance. It removes the need for constant signs and replaces it with a quieter kind of trust, the kind that wakes up each day choosing to believe even without evidence. This is the trust that anchors prophets. This is the trust that stabilizes kings. This is the trust that escorts destiny into the visible realm. Anointed one, you have walked through seasons where God felt near and seasons where He felt silent. But even in the silence, the promise did not weaken. The promise did not drift. The promise did not falter. What God spoke over you did not return to Him empty, and it never will. But there are moments when your spirit grows tired of being strong in secret, tired of holding peace while everything around you tempts fear, tired of walking forward on a path you cannot fully see. Chosen one, heaven has seen every quiet step you took when it felt like nothing was changing. Heaven watched you choose restraint when reaction would have been easier. Heaven honored every moment you wanted to give up but didn't. These are the unseen offerings of endurance, the ones that carry more spiritual weight than any public declaration. This is where maturity is formed, not in the visible miracle, but in the invisible consistency. There are days, anointed one, when the waiting feels heavier because you are carrying more revelation than results. You know something is coming. You feel the shift. You sense the nearness of breakthrough. Yet outwardly, life seems unchanged. This tension is not failure. It is the final stretch before manifestation. Every great promise has a quiet threshold where the soul must walk without drama, without applause, without confirmation. Chosen one, God is not withholding, He is finishing. And finishing takes place in silence, alignment, and timing that is often invisible to the human eye. The maturing of a promise is like the maturing of fruit. If touched too early, it bruises. If exposed too soon, it spoils. Heaven is not delaying you. Heaven is preserving what belongs to you so that when it arrives whole. Anointed one, you have been faithful in a season that demanded more from you than you expected to give. Faithful in the unseen. Faithful in exhaustion. Faithful when you felt emptied. This faithfulness has not gone unnoticed. It is not wasted. It is not forgotten. Every small act of endurance becomes a spiritual ledger, and heaven has been adding weight to your account long before the blessing becomes visible. Chosen one, holding on does not always look like passion. Sometimes it looks like quiet repetition, returning to what God said, returning to what you know, returning to the simple truth that He has never failed you before. Faith is often steadied not by dramatic signs, but by small reminders the Spirit recognizes as familiar anchors. And a quiet reminder has been placed below in the description to meet you in that still place. Anointed one, do not measure the effectiveness of your faith by how energized you feel. The greatest faith is often tired faith that refuses to quit. The greatest endurance is often the kind that whispers yes when everything else in your life feels like no. You are not weak because the waiting has been long. You are strong because you have stayed through what others would have abandoned. Chosen one, there is something sacred about believing in private long after the excitement wears off. Anyone can believe at the beginning. Few can believe in the middle. Even fewer can believe in the final hours before breakthrough, when nothing in the natural reflects what God whispered in the Spirit. This is where you stand now, on the quiet edge of fulfillment, where the promise feels both close and distant. That sensation is not confusion, it is proximity. Anointed one, endurance is not just waiting, it is waiting with identity intact. It is refusing to shrink into disappointment or stretch into desperation. It is holding steady while heaven aligns every unseen detail. The promise is not late. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are being synchronized with divine timing that will not fail you. Chosen one, God is not asking for new strength. He is asking for consistency in the strength you already possess. The strength that kept you standing when you were misunderstood. The strength that kept you believing when doors closed. The strength that held you through silence, pruning, and hiddenness. That strength is holy. That strength is enough. Anointed one, when this promise arrives, and it will not enter your life as something fragile. It will enter fully formed, fully timed, fully aligned with everything God shaped in you through the waiting. You will not have to chase it. You will not have to prove yourself worthy of it. Your endurance has already testified on your behalf. Chosen one, you are closer now than at any point in your life, not because you can see results, but because heaven has finished what silence was sent to protect. Hold steady, stand firm. The sacred shift is already in motion. Chosen one, there is a threshold your spirit is approaching, one that cannot be crossed through emotion or urgency, but only through the steady weight of a heart that has learned to remain. Anointed one, Part 5 is the place where the waiting becomes revelation, where the quiet becomes instruction, and where the endurance you have carried begins to reveal what it has been shaping inside you all along. Not in sudden fireworks, but in a deep, holy awareness that something within you is becoming unmovable. Chosen one, waiting does not simply test your timeline, it transforms your posture. It teaches you to stand without shaking, to trust without demanding, to walk without explanations to yourself or others. There were seasons when you believed loudly, but now you are entering a season where you believe with a calmness that heaven recognizes as maturity. Anxiety is giving way to assurance. Restlessness is giving way to rooted identity. You are no longer grasping for signs. You are becoming the kind of vessel that signs follow. Anointed one, God watches how you wait. Not in judgment, but in tenderness. He sees the quiet battles of your mind, the questions you never speak out loud, the subtle discouragements that come when progress is invisible. He knows every time you picked yourself up without celebration, every time you steadied your breath and said within, "I still believe." Those moments carry spiritual weight far greater than you realize. Heaven measures them. Heaven remembers them. Heaven responds to them. Chosen one. There is a specific kind of fatigue that comes not from unbelief, but from continued faith. The kind where your spirit has stretched so far that even hope feels like work. You are not failing, you are not weakening, you are being stretched into the dimensions required for what is coming. Promises that alter destinies are not carried by shallow roots. They require depth, deep trust, deep surrender, deep patience. And those depths are found only when every layer of your being has learned to lean into God without demand. Anointed one, the long wait has created a space inside you that nothing else can fill except the fulfillment of what God said. You have outgrown old patterns, old circles, old desires, old versions of yourself. The waiting has done its job. It refined you. It clarified you. It stripped away what would have corrupted the blessing. And now, without realizing it, you have become someone who can carry what once would have crushed you. Chosen one. There is a holiness in your endurance, not the endurance of stubbornness or willpower, but the endurance of surrender, the willingness to keep walking when God is silent, the willingness to keep believing when nothing changes, the willingness to keep standing when everything around you tries to convince you that standing is pointless. This is not naive optimism. This is spiritual authority emerging inside you. You are learning to wait like Abraham waited when the promise contradicted his circumstances. You are learning to trust like Joseph trusted in prison when the dream seemed dead. You are learning to hold steady like David held steady when he was anointed but not yet appointed. These are not stories of delay, they are stories of divine sequencing. Heaven's timing requires a heart that can carry weight before it carries fulfillment. Anointed one, your heart has learned more in the silent seasons than it ever learned in seasons of signs and wonder. What God builds in hiddenness becomes the very thing that sustains you in elevation. You are not being prepared for a small shift. You are being prepared for a life-altering release. And the waiting is almost complete, not because time has passed, but because the work inside you has matured. Chosen one. There are days when you feel the promise so strongly it moves you to tears, and days when it feels distant and faint. But hear this clearly. Feelings do not dictate spiritual timing. God has not changed his mind. Heaven has not altered its plan. Your timeline has not been cancelled. The fluctuation you feel is not doubt. It is your spirit adjusting to the pressure of the next dimension. This is why it feels heavier before breakthrough. This is why your heart feels both stretched and anchored at the same time. The closer you are to fulfillment, the more your inner world senses the shift, even when your outer world has not yet caught up. This is spiritual proximity. This is evidence that the unseen is beginning to touch the seen. Anointed one, waiting reshapes your eyes. You begin to notice divine fingerprints on ordinary days. You begin to perceive God's nearness in moments you once overlooked. You begin to feel gratitude rise from places where discouragement used to dominate. This is maturity quieting your soul. This is hope moving from emotion into identity. Chosen one, there is a grace resting on you now, a grace for continued endurance without collapse, a grace for stability without answers, a grace for trust without constant reassurance. Your spirit is no longer waiting in desperation, it is waiting in recognition. Recognition that what God spoke is inevitable, recognition that what He set in motion cannot be reversed. Recognition that timing is aligning with purpose in ways far beyond your understanding. Anointed one, the promise is no longer forming, it is positioning. And positioning takes place in timings so precise that even a moment too early would disrupt the beauty of what God intends. You are standing in that narrow space between almost and now. This is why your spirit feels alert, aware, sensitive. Heaven is shifting, and your soul feels it before your circumstances reveal it. Chosen one, you have waited long, you have endured well, and you are closer now than you have ever been, not because you can see the finish line, but because heaven has already decided it is time. Hold steady. This endurance is not empty, this waiting is not wasted. Everything within you is aligning with everything God is bringing toward you. Your promise is not drifting, it is approaching with intention. And when it arrives, it will not resemble delay, it will resemble destiny fulfilled. Chosen one, there is a sacred intensity resting on this part of the journey, the kind that does not rush you forward but draws you deeper. Part 6 is not about movement you can see. It is about recognition, alignment, and the subtle inner shift that tells you heaven is preparing to unveil what has been kept from premature exposure. Anointed one, this is where the weight of destiny settles differently, not as pressure, but as presence. Not as worry, but as witness. Your spirit is testifying to something your eyes have not yet seen. Chosen one, there is a moment in every divine process when the waiting turns into knowing, not knowing when, not knowing how, but knowing it will be. You are stepping into that moment. Your spirit is no longer grasping for signs, because it has already caught the scent of fulfillment. Like Elijah, who sensed rain before a cloud formed, your inner world has picked up what heaven has already released. That feeling you cannot explain is not imagination, it is alignment. Anointed one, God brings His people into a phase where the promise stops feeling distant and starts feeling inevitable. This is that phase for you. You are not wrestling for assurance anymore, you are carrying assurance. And though circumstances may still be quiet, there is a shift in your posture that heaven recognizes as readiness. This readiness is not rooted in strength, it is rooted in surrender. Chosen one, you have reached a place where the journey itself has become revelation. What once felt like delay now feels like design. What once felt like silence now feels like safety. What once felt like isolation now feels like consecration. These are not small shifts. They are signs that your inner world has matured into the vessel God intended. Your endurance has turned into authority. Your stillness has turned into discernment. Your waiting has turned into wisdom. None of this happened suddenly. It formed slowly, quietly, faithfully, until the weight of what God placed inside you became stronger than every doubt that tried to rise against it. Anointed one, heaven's preparation is not always loud. Sometimes it is barely noticeable until suddenly everything within you feels different. You are living in that suddenly, even if nothing dramatic has happened yet. God often transforms the inner landscape before He shifts the outer one. The miracle begins invisibly before it becomes undeniable. You are in the invisible part of the miracle right now. Chosen one. There is a holy pressure building, not the pressure of fear or urgency, but the pressure that comes when something appointed is nearing its unveiling. You may feel more reflective than usual, more aware, more sensitive to what aligns and what does not, more protective of your energy, your peace, your hope. This is not random. This is the soul preparing to carry what it once only prayed for. Anointed one, there is something else stirring inside you, a different kind of strength. Not the strength that fights, but the strength that stands. Not the strength that chases, but the strength that receives. You are being shifted from effort into inheritance, from striving into becoming, from expectation into embodiment. Heaven is not only preparing the blessing for you, heaven is preparing you for the blessing. Chosen one. In this season, God often removes unnecessary noise, not because it distracts you from the promise, but because it dilutes the purity of what He is forming within you. You may notice a narrowing of focus, a sharpening of desire, a simplification of what matters. These are not losses, these are alignments. God is reducing what drains you so He can increase what sustains you. This is the season where God replaces emotional highs with spiritual depth. The kind of depth that makes you stable even when circumstances shift. The kind of depth that keeps you grounded when breakthrough suddenly arrives. The kind of depth that prevents you from mismanaging what heaven has entrusted you with. Anointed one, your resilience has been reshaped. You are no longer resilient because you endure. You are resilient because you recognize what is yours and refuse to let go. That is covenant-level strength. That is promise-level maturity. That is destiny-level identity. Chosen one. There will be moments in this phase where you feel both anticipation and calm at the same time. You may wake with a sense that something is moving even though the day looks ordinary. You may feel a sudden peace that has no logical source. This is not emotional, it is prophetic. Your spirit is receiving updates from heaven before your mind catches up. This is why distractions feel heavier than before. This is why misalignment feels louder. This is why your discernment has sharpened without effort. You are being drawn inward, not to hide, but to hear. Not to shrink, but to stabilize. Not to fear, but to recognize that something is coming that requires your full awareness. Anointed one, God is refining the atmosphere of your heart so the promise has a place to land. He is removing old frustrations, softening old wounds, healing old timelines, and clearing away any residue that could distort what He is bringing. You are being emptied in the best way, emptied of what cannot enter the next season so that fullness can take its rightful place. Chosen one. There is a rhythm to divine fulfillment, and your steps are beginning to sync with it. Not by striving, but by surrender. Not by force, but by faith. You are no longer running toward the promise. You are walking with the confidence of someone who knows it is already on its way. This part of the journey is where trust becomes instinct, where hope becomes environment, where expectation becomes posture. The long endurance has carved out space in your spirit that can now hold more, carry more, discern more. This is why you feel different, even if you cannot articulate it. Something has shifted permanently. Anointed one, do not underestimate this internal shift. It is the final preparation heaven completes before the external manifestation arrives. What God is doing now is sealing you, sealing your identity, sealing your discernment, sealing your readiness, so that when the blessing appears, you meet it without trembling. Chosen one. You are standing in the quiet prelude of a divine unveiling, the kind that does not shout its arrival, but transforms everything once it appears. Heaven is closer to releasing this than it has ever been, and your spirit knows it, even if your circumstances do not yet reflect it. Hold this awareness, stand inside it. Something holy is approaching, chosen one. There is a sacred nearness in the atmosphere of this part, a quiet confirmation that what has been forming in hiddenness is beginning to press against the walls of the unseen. Anointed One. Part 7 is the chamber of convergence, the place where everything you have endured, released, surrendered, and grown through begins to gather into a single point of divine intention. You are not merely waiting anymore. You are aligning with something that is already moving toward you. Chosen One. Heaven is bringing your journey into a precise synchronization, not with your emotions, not with your expectations, but with God's appointed timing. This is the kind of timing that does not bend for impatience, fear, or pressure. It bends only for purpose. You may sense this through subtle shifts inside you, an increase in spiritual sensitivity, a quiet boldness that rises without effort, a peace that settles over places where anxiety once lived. These are not passing moments. They are signals that the veil around your next season is thinning. Anointed One, there is a maturity developing within you that can only be formed through long endurance and sustained obedience. This is not the maturity of age or intellect. This is spiritual stature, depth earned through repeated surrender, strength developed through internal battles no one else saw, clarity forged in places where you had nothing left to lean on except the voice of God. Heaven recognizes this stature. Heaven responds to it. Heaven moves for it. Chosen One. There is a part of the prophetic journey no one talks about often enough, the part where your heart begins to sense completion before anything around you looks complete. You are living in that paradox now. The promise still appears distant, yet your spirit feels close to something. Your circumstances seem unchanged, yet you feel the shift under your feet. The timing feels invisible, yet your soul keeps whispering, "Soon." This is not delusion. This is prophecy maturing inside you. You are discerning the vibration of fulfillment, the spiritual resonance that occurs when what God spoke begins to descend from the eternal into the earthly. It is like hearing footsteps in a hallway before anyone enters the room. Your spirit hears what your eyes cannot yet see. Anointed One, do not dismiss these sensations. They are heaven's way of preparing your internal world before your external world catches up. The promise always arrives in your spirit before it arrives in your life. God allows you to feel it early so that when it manifests, you are not overwhelmed. You are ready. Chosen One. In this stage, God often sharpens awareness in a way that feels both comforting and confronting. You may find yourself becoming more protective of your peace, more cautious with your words, more intentional about where you place your energy. This is not withdrawal, this is preservation. You are being guided into a posture that can hold what is coming without leaking, without breaking, without mismanaging. Anointed One, heaven is not simply bringing you a blessing. Heaven is elevating your capacity to carry what was always meant to be yours. The promise is not light. It carries generational weight, spiritual assignments, and kingdom significance. God has been strengthening the foundation so that when the blessing arrives, it rests on something unshakable. Chosen One. You may notice that God is closing certain pathways gently but firmly. Conversations fade. Old desires lose their grip. Connections that once felt familiar now feel foreign. This is not loss. This is pruning. Every branch that bears fruit must be refined to bear more. God is not taking anything from you that belongs to your next season. He is removing only what would limit your elevation. There is a sacred seriousness in this phase, not heaviness, seriousness. A reverence that comes from knowing you are standing inside a divine turning point. You can feel it in the stillness. You can sense it in the atmosphere around you. Heaven is adjusting everything, including you, for the release that is approaching. Anointed one, the enemy often tries to intervene here, not with loud attacks, but with subtle discouragements. Thoughts that whisper, "Maybe you imagined it." Moments of fatigue that tempt you to disconnect. But these are not signs of failure. They are signs that the promise has entered proximity. The closer heaven brings you to fulfillment, the more the enemy attempts to distract you with small, insignificant noise. Chosen one. This is why stillness feels different right now. It is not silence, it is strategy. God is tuning your attention so that you do not miss the moment when He opens the door. There is a reason your spirit feels alert, even when your circumstances feel still. Heaven is preparing to shift something swiftly. And when the shift begins, it will not unfold slowly, it will unfold decisively, unmistakably, and with the kind of clarity that leaves no room for confusion. Anointed one, you are entering the phase where God reveals the alignment He has been orchestrating behind the scenes. Hearts are being prepared, paths are being redirected, resources are being positioned, conversations are being arranged, doors are being unlocked. But none of it will be visible until the precise moment God chooses. This is why the atmosphere around you feels charged, even though nothing outwardly dramatic has changed. Heaven moves before earth reflects it. Chosen one, you are not waiting for breakthrough anymore. You are being positioned for it. There is a difference. Waiting feels passive. Positioning is intentional. Positioning requires awareness, sensitivity, and a heart willing to move when God whispers instead of when circumstances demand. You have been prepared for this level of alignment through every season of hiddenness, silence, and endurance you survived. Anointed one, your spirit knows how close you are. That is why your hope keeps resurfacing even after disappointment. That is why your peace is deeper than your questions. That is why your discernment feels sharper than your logic. You are not imagining the shift. You are responding to the internal confirmation that heaven has already begun the transfer. Chosen one, you have stepped into a divine threshold, and thresholds are not meant to be rushed. They are meant to be recognized. Something holy is gathering. Something weighty is nearing. Something appointed is approaching at the speed of destiny. Hold this awareness with reverence. The air around you is changing. The timing is aligning. The promise is advancing. And heaven is preparing to reveal what your spirit has already heard. Chosen one, you have reached the final chamber of this message, a place where the unseen work of heaven begins to press into the edges of the visible. Part 8 is not closure, it is crossing. It is where everything God has whispered, shaped, pruned, strengthened, and purified in you begins to lean forward, signaling that the moment long carried in your spirit is nearing its unveiling. Anointed one, this is holy ground, not because of emotion, but because of alignment. Chosen one, there comes a point in the journey when the waiting no longer feels like distance. It feels like preparation accelerating toward completion. You can sense this shift, not in dramatic events, but in subtle confirmations that your soul recognizes before your mind can interpret them. You feel an internal readiness you did not have in previous seasons. You feel a clarity rising in places where confusion once lived. You feel a grounded anticipation, calm, steady, sure. This is the sign of a promise approaching maturity. Heaven is not just moving around you, heaven is moving toward you. Anointed One, Part 8 belongs to those who have endured long enough to grow eyes that can see beyond delay and ears that can hear beyond silence. You are no longer the version of yourself that first received the promise. You have become someone who can hold it without breaking, someone who can steward it without leaking, someone who can walk in it without being shaken. Chosen One, feel the weight of that truth. You have not been wandering, you have been evolving. Every quiet season reshaped you, every hidden moment realigned you, every unanswered question refined you. Nothing was wasted, nothing was random, nothing slipped through God's fingers. Heaven has been meticulously crafting a vessel capable of carrying what once would have overwhelmed you. And now, at this final threshold, something inside you knows, I am not where I was. I am not who I was. Anointed One, this is the sacred recognition that tells you the promise is not only real, but nearer than any prior season of your life. The fatigue of waiting has not disqualified you, it has qualified you. The stretching has not diminished you, it has expanded you. The longing has not weakened you, it has deepened you. God does not prepare lightly for the kind of destiny He has spoken over you. Chosen One, in these final steps before manifestation, the atmosphere around you becomes spiritually sensitive. You may find a sudden clarity about what no longer belongs, a sudden peace about what once troubled you, a sudden distancing from distractions, a sudden strengthening in your intuition, a sudden awareness of what aligns with your spirit. These are not coincidences. These are indicators that the promise is nearing its earthly coordinates. Anointed One, heaven always adjusts your environment before it unveils your elevation. You may have noticed certain relationships fading without conflict, certain opportunities dissolving without warning, certain desires shifting without explanation. This is divine editing. God is making room. God is clearing paths. God is removing what would have interfered with what He is sending. Not everyone can be present at the unveiling of what God has prepared for you. Some were only meant to walk with you through formation, not fulfillment. Chosen One, do not mourn what heaven removed to protect what heaven is releasing. The departure of what cannot stay is the announcement of what must come. Anointed One, your spirit is also entering a new dimension of recognition. You are becoming increasingly aware of how God has sustained you through seasons you thought you would not survive. This awareness is important. It stabilizes you for what is approaching. It grounds you so the blessing does not uproot you. It matures you so the elevation does not distort you. Sometimes the greatest preparation is the remembering of how far God has carried you. Chosen One, this is why gratitude feels different now, not forced, not practiced, but natural, quiet, deep. You are grateful not because everything is perfect, but because your spirit knows what is forming behind the veil. You can feel the promise breathing, expanding, coming closer, even if nothing in your environment has yet shifted. There is a spiritual law at work here. Fulfillment announces itself to the spirit before it reveals itself to the world. Anointed One, heaven has been watching your ability to remain consistent in faith when circumstances fluctuated. Heaven has measured the endurance you offered when no one applauded. Heaven has honored the sacrifices you made in secret. And now heaven is preparing to reward openly what was cultivated inwardly. Chosen One, this final stage is delicate, not fragile, delicate, like the last moments before dawn when everything is still, but the atmosphere is charged with expectancy. You are standing in that stillness now. The promise is not late, It is ripe. It is not distant. It is deliberate. It is not uncertain. It is appointed. And appointed things cannot be denied. Anointed one, understand this with holy clarity. Your breakthrough has entered its countdown, even if you cannot measure it. Your elevation has entered its arrangement, even if you cannot see it. Your transfer has entered its alignment, even if you cannot explain it. Heaven has already issued movement on your behalf. Chosen one, there is something else happening within you, a quiet courage rising, a readiness to walk through the door the moment God opens it. This courage is not emotional, it is spiritual. It comes from knowing that what is approaching is not the result of striving, but the result of surrender. You are not entering this next season exhausted. You are entering it enlightened. Anointed one, when the unveiling happens, it will not feel like a shock. It will feel like recognition, like something your spirit has carried for so long finally stepping into view. The blessing will not feel foreign. It will feel familiar, because heaven let your spirit touch it long before your hands do. Chosen one, you have reached the place where destiny stops being a hope and becomes an inevitability. The air around you carries the quiet echo of something ordained. You can feel it, not in noise, but in knowing. Not in pressure, but in presence. Not in striving, but in stillness. Remain in that stillness. Breathe in that knowing. Stand in that presence. For heaven is closer than it has ever been to revealing what your spirit has carried for years. Anointed one, what comes next is not accidental. It is appointed, not random, orchestrated, not delayed, perfectly timed. Chosen one, you are moments from the unveiling. Chosen one. As this message comes to a close, let your spirit rise in the certainty that heaven has already begun the transfer. You are standing inside your Kairos moment, the exact divine timing prepared for you before you ever understood the weight of this calling. Anointed one, your silence has not weakened you, it has positioned you, it has aligned you, it has placed you on holy ground where only obedience, discernment, and destiny can stand. Chosen one, may the blessing of clarity rest on you. May the covering of divine protection surround you. May the wisdom of God steady your steps as the supernatural unfolds in ways your natural eyes could never predict. What has been concealed will be revealed. What has been delayed will be released. And what has been forming in secret will manifest with undeniable authority. You are not waiting for breakthrough anymore. You are walking into it. If this word stirred your spirit, you may share it, you may subscribe, or you may leave a comment as a witness to what God is awakening within you. And for the moments when your heart needs steadiness, a quiet reminder has been placed gently in either the description or the pinned comment. Chosen one, go in strength, remain faithful, and walk forward covered in glory.